Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We have a big one today because Illuvium just announced the next patch for next week. The patch notes are out right now, and this is gonna be a game changer for Illuvium, especially for the competitive PvP scene in Illuvium. So let's jump right in and give it a look. We're gonna go through it very fast so you can save some time. You don't have to read it yourself, figure it all out yourself. I'm here to do that for you. Let's get started. So this is gonna be Patch Notes 1.1. By the way, I don't know if you know, but for example, Counter-Strike, the most legendary Counter-Strike in my opinion was 1.6. So just keep that in mind, right? I completely forgot that we were still in 1.0, which is such an early build, and I don't think there's any game which nailed their release on 1.0. So just seeing 1.1 right here with a lot of patch notes is making me really hopeful for the near future. Let's get it going. So the weekend is coming and we wanted to give the community some light reading material. Well, let's see how light it is. But it is really nice that the team is giving us all the patch notes way ahead of time, which we haven't seen lately. So I really like this change, going back to an older patch notes model that we had before. So the general updates, we have some IMX plugin updates. We have updated the IMX plugin to the latest version. Improve performance, fix some issues with craft orders, client restart for IMX issues. The game client will automatically restart if IMX burn issues are detected, which is good, so nobody is missing stuff. They're just gonna have to relog if something goes wrong and then they have their stuff. I don't know, sometimes I would rather not have that shard and decide for myself if I want to restart the game. So maybe there should be a pop-up that lets you know, hey, there was just an error, do you want to restart? Or do you want to keep being in-game and the next time you restart it will be here? But yeah, that doesn't really matter so much. Forge Enhancement. A new Illuvidex link direct to items is now available in the Forge. So you will be able to link directly into the Illuvidex when you want to know the price for something in the Forge. Bug fixes, minor bugs have been squashed. Nice to see. Overworld economy update. So here is where the nitty-gritty starts. Higher stage illuvials are much more common. We have seen this change was already enacted in the previous backend patch. I would love to see an announcement for this when it happens. I don't think there's any reason to not give us this change right, like the patch notes for this change right when it happens. It doesn't have to be a full patch note document. It can just be a little announcement. I know there's a lot of PR going into it. You wanna phrase it right so it doesn't, like, people don't get the wrong idea. For example, with the 75% fuel nerf on Illuvium land, this could have been communicated better. But since we haven't communicated it very good in other announcements, at least let's prioritize direct messaging, like right when it happens, over anything else, I would say. And then also phrasing it right, that should also be a focus for the future. But this one so far, I love it. Fusion costs for tier 5 illuvials have been increased by 50%. We're gonna come to that in a second, what that means. Well, it's pretty obvious what it means. It just increased by 50%, but the impact and the reasons for it, we're gonna come to it in a second. Curing costs for resplendent shards to tier 5 shards have been decreased from 1,200 to 1,000, and the region stage 1 and 2 have been brought much closer to stage 3 in terms of net expected value per cost. I already thought stage 1 gives you the most bang for your buck, and I guess that was not so much the case, but now it seems like definitely the case, and I like that. I like to not being forced into stage 3 because I think it's very sweaty. I'm always getting FOMO of missing some illuvials, of not having checked a tiny spot in the map and missing something out, so I like this change of being able to spam stage 1 and stage 2, which are a little bit more relaxing for me, instead of having to go to stage 3. So about the cost changes right here, it's basically mentioned right here. The cost to obtain all set 1 illuvials outside of marketplace action is expected to be largely the same as before. Fusing to obtain them all is the economical path, so it's the cheaper way, before and after the changes. However, the path of capturing to obtain them all was much more expensive, and now the gap between those has been brought down significantly. Because now fusing is more expensive, shards are less expensive, just a tier 5 shard, because this is the hard stuff to be capturing, right? The The cost to obtain them all is weighted mainly by obtaining all tier 5 Illuvials and to a lesser extent tier 4 Illuvials. The rest is you get it along the way, but those are the ones you look for the longest. And so yeah, with the tier 5 shards being being cheaper to be cured, the cost has been brought down to obtain them all, to catch them all with your shards. And then the fuel cost has been increased. So now fusing will be more expensive. And yeah, it's just closer together. Makes sense in my mind. Then we got some arena updates. So the channel arena, synergy fixes. Yeah, there is just some bug fix, basically. Projectile animations, nice hex grid fix. Yeah, those are just some smaller bug fixes. Drone selection. You can now select a drone in the loadout. So you can bring your drone choice into the arena. I think it's very funny that it didn't change before to be able to select a drone in the overworld. I know a lot of people who would have preferred to be able to have a drone selection in the overworld than in the arena, but hey, I'm not gonna complain about features that we're getting. I'm just saying, please bring the drone selections. I have the right drone, I got my Hilde, but some people, they are suffering out there with their bug and whatsoever. Then we got the health bars. They are now smaller and display the stage of the Illuvial, so it's overall a little bit more visible and a little bit easier to see what's happening and what we're playing with. Card spacing, no more gaps between the cards, no more zooming in and out while scrolling through your team, so it's also going to be a little bit easier to see your whole team. I think it doesn't have all this like a wheel effect, like in the middle it's big, on the outside it's small. We'll see how that looks. I'm sure it looks better if they implemented it. Stacking vulnerabilities, multiple stacks of vulnerability are now stacked correctly. So I guess this is toxic plus frost and so on, which is nice, good bug fix. Rogue movement. Rogues can no longer fit between the hexes where they shouldn't be able to. So this is a little nerf to the rogues and a little buff to clumps in the corner, healing clumps and so on. Augment stacking. They properly stack if 2 of the same augments are used. That is great. Buff and debuff calculations. They are now calculated from the current stats and not from the base stats. Great bug fix again. Hex size adjustments. And I'm curious how many of those bug fixes will actually implement the actual meta. Because here, this obviously nerfs Rogue a little bit, even though it's just a bug fix. And also stuff like this. So yeah, we're gonna see how that works. Hex size adjustments, small adjustments to some stage 2 and stage 3 units. And the stage 1 Groko Omega radius is now bigger, so it always hits its target. Then we come down to survival. Huge changes. Randomized runs. Every run is now random. No more daily patterns. I didn't think we would get that. I don't think anybody thought we would get that this far, but here it is. Here we got it. We got randomized survival, which means no more 50 people are gonna come into my stream and ask for doing the wave 40. I will be still be teaching people how to do survival, but just by teaching them how to play the game, not by just showing them what to do every wave, and then they can copy paste it. Great change. This makes survival even more fun and not abusable and so on. Gauntlet, hotkey functionality, added hotkeys for buying, XP, refreshing shop, and sell a unit. This is great. I know every TFT player has missed that because it's tedious to click those buttons, and it's way better to just have the hotkey. Unit pickup fix, great bug fixes. Enemy Illuvial fix, great. Unit muting, so I guess when units were on your bench, they were still making sounds. That makes sense, because at one point it probably sounds like a Sioux if you have like a Kuka, a Foe, and a Fernites there on the bench. And screen enhancement, so we will see augment tooltips and alignments on the end screen. That is nice. Queue UI, added a UI element to show the numbers of players in the queue for Gauntlet. This is great, so you can kind of estimate how long you still have to wait, if it's 6 out of 8 players and so on. Because I assume this goes with the Gauntlet mode, which will hopefully have ranked modes. So then you queue up for ranked, you have to wait till you have 8 players, because you're not going to play against bots. And then you know how many players are already in your queue, how many more do you need. Tier 1 Illuvial availability increased the chance of finding Tier 1 Illuvials from level 5 onwards. So the chances of finding Illuvials, low tier Illuvials, is higher in the later stages. I'm sure they did that to align more with TFT. And that's good to see. You don't have to stress out to not be basically able to level up because you still want to find tier 1 Illuvials, which has kind of stressed me out. So nice to see there as well. Unit availability, we have more Illuvials available to buy across all tiers. That is also cool. I think for the tier 5 it wasn't a problem, but for the early tiers, especially with this very narrow meta, it was all about who could hit those few Quinxes and Rotas the first, because then they would be gone. So that's nice to see. Basically not nerfing the current meta, but giving more access to the whole lobby to it. Like that. Then we got auto-deploy units. A great change. If the board isn't full, if you have 3 out of 4 units placed and the game starts, the system will automatically drag units from the bench to the battle board. General UI improvements. I would hope there was some... We get a few more seconds. Various UI tweaks enhance the overall experience. Maybe we don't get more time, but maybe at least the audio cue, like the 5-second timer, is now happening at 5 seconds, not at 0 seconds. That would be great. Then we got Gauntlet Leviathan mode. So this is another big news. We're getting a Leviathan mode in Gauntlet, which is the ultimate test for a collection strategy. In this mode, Illuvials, weapons, and suits that appear in your shop are those you own. And their stats reflect their actual power levels. If you do not own the Illuvials, you can still play it, but their stats are standardized across the mode. This means owning and leveling up your Illuvials can provide a significant advantage in the game. And it will, because a perfect stat Illuvial has plus 50% attack damage, omega power, attack speed, resistances, and health, and also movement speed, which doesn't matter that much. But 50% is a lot, and if you ever saw a 50% extra movement speed foe, it's zooming around the map. Again, it doesn't matter so much, but it just visualizes it very good how much it improves actually the power of the Illuvials. Also, the levels are now in it. And per level, you get 1% of stat increase. So, for example, where a level 50 unit has plus 50 percent stats, and a perfect Illuvial has also plus 50 stats. So this is kind of a perfect stat Illuvial would be the same strength as a level 50 Illuvial with 0 extra stats. This is my belief, at least. So yeah, level up your Illuvials. Go into the marketplace, I think, to check out to find maybe some deals on some very high stat Illuvials. It's a bit tedious to filter through it, but that means you have better chances because not so many people are doing it. And yeah, always when you capture in the overworld, make sure to check the stats before you start the fight to know if there is some high stat Illuvials, because that's what's gonna happen, what's gonna matter in the Gauntlet Leviathan mode. I also believe this is not confirmed yet that we're gonna get rewards for this. It just makes sense, right? Once we incentivize the Leviathan mode, where basically all the units you use, it's kind of like pay to win, right? You also want to get something in return. So we're gonna get some rewards there, I believe. And this is really cool to see, just giving so much use case to the Illuvials. People have been asking for this. We want to be, there should be a big use case for Illuvials. Well, there you have it. All Illuvials are gonna matter now because their level matters and their stats matter. I don't think you should stress too much about having all perfect stats Illuvials. Not many people will have that, and you can still outplay people. But yeah, it's definitely gonna impact it. And then we got a lot of examples, but I think they overdid it a little bit here, especially with the examples down there. So the nitty gritty, I think example 2 is pretty good. Or yeah, so you own 2 atlases. One is level 21, one is level 27. Same example goes with stats as well, but let's just do it with the levels. When you refresh this up, if you see an atlas, the level 27 atlas will appear first because it's the higher level. Then once you buy this, the next atlas you will see will be the 21 atlas. And then the next one you see will be a level 1 unowned standardized atlas. If you got 3 atlas, you will see 3 of them. But as soon as you fuse them together, so if you fuse the 21 and the 27, those will become an axon. Again, your highest level, your highest stat axon will be the one you get. And then those 27 atlas and the 21 atlas will be again in the shop. So if you sell it, it will reappear in the shop. I think here we have also the example with fusing. The original atlas will be returned to the shop. So you basically don't need more than 2 high stat, high level atlas or any Illuvial stage 1. Because once you have 3 of them, they become a stage 2 anyway, and the original ones will be returned to the shop. So you basically need, if you want to max out everything, you want to have 2 maxed stage 1 Illuvials, 2 maxed stage 2 Illuvials, and 1 maxed stage 3 Illuvial, because that's the most you're going to be able to play in the game before they fuse up automatically. And yeah, I don't think... Yeah, I think I covered it all. I don't think... we're also going to have weapon and suits. So they will just show up in the shop, weapons and suits. Also, the highest level versions that you own will appear first. I think they mean highest stats. I don't think weapons and suits have their own level on their own. So they mean the highest power level versions you own will appear first and will remain unavailable in the shop. So they cannot appear again until they're equipped or on the bench. Higher stages, we covered that. Selling, shop refresh behavior. Each time you refresh the shop, yeah, it still works like TFT, right? It's just every time you get something, you get the highest, the strongest unit from your collection, basically. And this is huge. Gauntlet will have a huge player base. Everybody's going to be playing it. It's going to be so much fun. Because all we needed was really not playing versus bots, and we got that now. We also got Leviathan with it, so finally all the Illuvials that you captured over the last month, they're gonna be so important to play this. For everybody who doesn't like auto battle games, please give it a try. I think I have an auto battle guide on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna do maybe an in-depth one again if you guys want that. I've played thousands of hours of TFT, hundreds of hours of other auto battler guides, so I think I'm well equipped to teach you the game, and I am very confident that this is something also for casual players, because PvP competitiveness, this always sounds very sweaty to everybody, like you're just gonna get stomped on if you're not grew up with this, basically. But TFT, why did I transition to this away from shooters and MOBAs and so on and to the strategy genre? Because you can play this very good when you're still old. Because when you're still old, you're still smart, but you maybe don't have the reaction time and the aim and all of that you need in other games. But all you need in a TFT game or in a Gauntlet game is gonna be a good brain. And I know you all got a good brain. So the other thing that you need is practicing. I will help you practice. I will help you learn the game. And it's a lot of fun because you can get very good. And I think that's the most important thing, because winning is fun. You know, it's all about winning in PvP games. And I'm sure all of you can win, even if you're not those sweaty tryhard gamers that we have a lot in Illuvium, which is good. But I think you can win a lot, and you're gonna have a lot of fun in Gauntlet, because it's just like chess or a board game. It's just a strategy game, and yeah, I think it's great, and I cannot wait to play it. I hope to see you all in there. That is it. That is all. Catch me on stream very soon, and also. You can put, once you go into your account, you can support the channel. If you like this content, guys, I would appreciate it a lot if you can put my referral code into your referral link in your profile settings. I can show it to you right here. You just go to your profile. It's gonna verify you're a human. I hope you are. And once you're in there, you just go to the profile settings, and then you can, to your account settings. I have Vibe in here because I cannot put myself. And just please put any of your favorite content creators. It doesn't have to be me, right? If you want to support my content, my code is PAS, P-A-Z. And if you put that in, it would support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It supports your content creator of choice. And I think our content creators are doing a great job. And I think we should be supporting them. Please help me do Illuvium full-time, because I love the community, I love this game, and I love making content for you all, guys. Usually I make gameplay guides, how to play the game. I will be focusing more on that in the near future. But yeah, I also cover like patch notes and stuff like this. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you wanna see a new Gauntlet gameplay guide. I'm losing my words here. But if you wanna see the old one I made, it's like a few weeks old. It's not that old. It's pretty much up to date. It's right up here. It's just a little overview of what Gauntlet is about and all the details that you need to know, like how do I get money, what I should focus on, and so on. Just a very basic guide to get you going. If you want an in-depth guide, I'm all down for it. Just let me know, because I want to know what you want to see, and that's what I like to make content about. Peace out. See you in the next one. Have a good one.